candidates working together. That's radical, you guys. You don't. I hope you get that, how radical it is that the three of us are saying, I'm seriously saying, vote, if you want to vote Francisco first, that's great. You vote, I'm not trying to talk you out of it. Like, if you want to vote Stuart second, that's great. You know, I'm passing out these guides that the League of Pissed Off Voters, and they put me number 3. I don't care. Like, I want to unite with these other 2 candidates, and we have a chance. And I just want to say really briefly what ranked choice voting is for those of you who aren't too familiar. You get to vote for your first choice, second choice, third choice. And then at the end of the first round, whoever has the least amount of votes, they're out, and their second place votes go to the other candidates. And so the fact that me and Francisco and Stuart are working together, no matter what people are putting us in different orders, one of us is going to come out at that end against Ed Lee, and hopefully we have enough votes to beat him. But I came to terms with that a long time ago. That was the way I started this campaign, is thinking I'd be helping out a more established candidate, and a more established candidate didn't enter, but nobody could be more serious of a candidate than I am. And that's what I've been, you know, growing very wary of, is people saying there's no serious contenders to Ed Lee. And it's like, oh, is serious a war chest? You know, and I've been saying, I don't have a war chest, but I have a seed library. You know, and I think that's more powerful than a war chest, personally. But that when you're talking to people on the streets, the thing that I think resonates with people the most is vote 1, 2, 3. There's 3 people-powered candidates. You watch the debate. You watch that forum. That's what I would tell people now. Go ahead and look up League of Women Voters forum, Mayoral forum. It's you know, an hour long. Watch it and see who the best. Don't take my word for it. I've decided this is my order. It's Amy, Francisco, Stuart, or Francisco, Stuart, Amy, whatever it is. You watch the forum. You decide who did the best job when they were on the stage in front of the public answering questions. You know, then it's not about you trying to tell people things. It's just like, well, this is my truth. And then you go, like you're saying, you're like, I'm part of this. I'm actually excited. I'm personally excited to be in this room, and last night to be in the room at All Tribes and United Players. And I truly feel like, wow, we're united through Grace Lee Boggs. You know, we're actually continuing the work that's been going on, and it's just, this is amazing to me that all these people are in this room together caring about this. So thank you so much. I feel like I have some new family, like literally, through this process, and not just people in this room, but other people who, it's like if you start to speak your truth, and I've been fearless. I've been calling out media, I've been calling out anybody, even the progressives who are taking a stand on the sidelines right now and saying that we can't do this. I've been fearless, but speaking truth through compassion, and that was something that you guys were talking about last night, is that when people attack you, you actually have to defend yourself. And so I've been getting a little bit more assertive about when I hear people saying that this is impossible or Ed Lee is unbeatable. It's like, no, you know, that's not true. He's only unbeatable if, like Max says, you know, we succumb to apathy. Like Max was saying the other day, it's not that we're fighting Ed Lee, we're fighting apathy. Because if everybody who was dissatisfied with Ed Lee voted, we would win by a landslide. Yeah. So it's just about how do we tap into that kind of energy. And now when I'm, like Jason can say, like we're like hanging out together and I see like a whole group of people like at the park, or I see people like on a bus and I'm like, voters. You know, like, I hope you guys feel that way too. It's like voters, like there's like 50 people right there that I could go talk to. That's how turned on I am right now. I'm just like, just let me at them. I want to talk to anyone I can. If someone's walking their dog by me, hey, I'm your neighbor, I'm running for mayor, I'm Amy. You know, that's how it is.
That's what I'm tell you. Like, this is why I want y'all to hear her talk. I want y'all to understand. You judge for yourself. I'm not going to make y'all vote anything, but if y'all listen to my music, if y'all vibe on the same mind state that I'm on and type of shit like that, then you're going to understand out of those 6 candidates, Amy is best qualified and she has a plan of action. You know what I mean? Like I said, I haven't slept in about a week. You know what I mean? So I've been doing my research, and I'm like, you know, I'm not, you know, I speak my heart. I'm going to ask her and be like, hey, so what's going on with this Black Lives Matter? Is it really your priority or what's going on? You know what I mean? Like, so these are things that, like I said, if y'all want to have faith in somebody, have faith in me. You know, use me. If you need me to do something, then tell me about it. If I feel any type of, have my heart into it, I'm gonna do all I can to help y'all do something. You know what I'm saying? I don't want to label myself as a leader or an activist or anything. I'm just Ilyich. You know what I mean? So this is what I'm here for. We need, and if it's gonna help y'all, you know what I'm saying, be aware and be conscious and fight and rebel, then that's all I want to be a part of. I don't want to be a part of no, like she said, the drug dealer and all this the other type of shit rap. I mean, everybody got to find a way to make a living, but that's not me. And I'm not going to represent that. You know what I mean? Like, we have to come together and understand we got to represent together. Like you said, we need a group, but first things first, let's see what we could do for Amy. You know what I mean? She's trying to do something for us. Period. That's how we got to understand. She's trying to be the public servant for San Francisco. And that takes a lot of balls, a lot of guts. So, I mean, I think let's acknowledge that. Let's follow through with that. Let's not just, doubt it. And like I said, if you have any faith in me, then have faith in Amy. That's all I'm really saying, you know what I mean? Because I'm going to do damn sure that she's going to do right. You know what I mean? Me putting in all this work, it's going to come out to something. You know what I'm saying? Maybe not be, whatever, November 3rd or whatever the hell, but we're going to keep fighting. And that's the beauty of the whole shit. You know what I mean? Being an example for the future that, man, these people actually stood up and they were trying to make a change. The last term of Ed Lee was trying to run and move people out. That's beautiful. You know what I mean? Like when I'm out trying to reach these people on the street and I might only reach 1 or 2, 3, but I feel whole. I feel free doing this shit. You know what I mean? Like that's me, but I know we all can find that within each other. When you find, like I said earlier, when you see someone getting mistreated, if that shit hurts your heart, then this is for you. We have to follow our compassion. We have to go and find solidarity within each other in our communities. You know what I'm saying? That's the only way it's going to happen. We have to be with the people. You know what I'm saying? And she's for the people. Believe me, she's for the people. She's a regular person that's in this campaign. She's not political. She's grassroots. You see what I'm saying? Like you said, it might be radical, it might be this or that, but it's somebody doing something. That's when somebody tell me that I try to criticize my Ed Lee stance, you must be crazy. Because look at the effect it's made. I don't give it. I get, all the negative shit. It doesn't mean nothing to me because y'all here. You know what I'm saying? I see this. I'm getting my families and my friends, my close ones, and the ones that don't support me, I don't even need them in my life no more. I don't need those type of people in my life because they're not what I'm for. They're not what I'm fighting for. And I think that's something that we have to understand and maybe consider in our own lives. Who you want around, what type of energy you want around in your life. You want someone that's just being lackadaisical and ain't doing nothing with their life and knowing better but not doing better. You see, that's the number one shit that I don't want friends no more that say, you want to stay in the city, then step your hustle up. That shit is bullshit. That shit is disattaching yourself from the people, period. That mind state is filth. You know what I'm saying? But we are slowly getting there without being aware that we turn into that filth. You know what I'm saying? Like we all have a friend that says, I don't want to hear nothing. We might not talk to them daily like we talk to certain friends, but there's somebody that's in your family, someone that's your friend, that's like, man, fuck Ed Lee, it's the billionaires. Oh, you got the wrong approach, brother. You know what I mean? Like, no, man, you want to stay in Frisco to step your hustle up, you got to be like, bro, what kind of thought is that? You know what I'm saying? There's no compassion. There's no justice in that. There's nothing. No equality in that. And that's what the bottom line is: justice, equality. That's what we after. We want to be treated equal. I want my nieces and nephews and my blood not to live around, not to walk around in fear. And that's what everybody do. We walking on eggshells and shit. Like even with the people, the transplants. Like, oh, I don't want to get them all riled up because we might get kicked out of this restaurant. We might, we got to get rid of that fear. And I don't want that with that's why I'm sitting there and I see that my nephews and my nieces are next to me and they know what the fuck is going on with Ed Lee and what he represents. And when I'm going to be their older representative and be their idol and their hero and I'm their family and shit and I'm just going to sit there and say nothing, we all have to carry that. We all have to think like that. That's the only way we're going to be able to. And after that, myself, I felt free. Yeah, I ain't slept for shit. And I have gotten threats. And yeah, all this shit is happening. But I've never felt freer in my mother-hugging life. You see what I'm saying? And that's what we have to understand. I know that's in all of us. I know that's in all of us. The organizer, the coffee organizer, all of us getting together. We all have to play our position. You know what I mean? All of us, some of us have a lot of power in our influence. You know what I mean? A lot of power in our influence. And we have to use that in the right way. We have to use that in the right way. And understand, like she said, we are leaders. We control ourselves. You know what I'm saying? Like, and y'all coming out supporting me, letting me know that my voice means something that you guys have no idea what that means. You know what I mean? Like, that shit is really hitting home for me. I see my brothers out here, my sisters, everybody out here really having concern, a genuine concern of what's going on with the city. And I think that's what just woke me up. You know, like a lot of us are born and raised in this thing. We trying to fight for, like you said, we want to raise our kids in here. I want my kids to know the Dolores Park that I knew. You know what I mean? I want the kids to understand, you know, all the streets and how the homeless, like you can really talk to a wino on the corner without him getting, you know, because there's game in these streets, you know? We can't neglect these people. We can't neglect the homeless. We can't do that shit, and that's what's happening. Even us, and like I said, we get conditioned. We're all comfortable with, you know what I'm saying? We're looking at people like, oh, shit, you know, he's kind of dirty, he's homeless, you know what I'm saying? Like, we have to be able to speak to these people. And you said, like you said earlier, someone said it, homeless people are people in the streets, people that's in the parks and shit, they can vote. You know, we disattaching ourselves from the people. And the more we, you know what I'm saying, don't vote and shit, like even though it doesn't seem like that's the way we can solve things, that's how we're going to get somewhere. That's how we're going to show solidarity and be the example, and we're going to make history. You see what I'm saying? I want to make history, you know? I pattern my life, and for years, a lot of us pattern our lives over people that died for causes. We admire those people. Stokely Carmichael and all these, Malcolm X, we admire, there's no fronting in that. We all admire them as heroes. What the fuck are we doing? We're waiting for someone to be the Malcolm X? You know what I'm saying? That's not going to happen. You know, that's what I said, we have to pattern our lives up after that and follow through. You know, contribute. Don't just scream it. Don't just say, like it said in the article, free Mumia, free Palestine. What are we doing for that, though? You know what I mean? Like, okay. My bad.
Do you mind if I sing you a song that I wrote? Kind of based off of that idea. I actually wrote a bunch of songs about coming of age in the year 1963, and it's so amazing because all the songs that I wrote could just really fit right into right now and those issues. But when I was traveling across the country, I was going to work at a place called Gould Farm in Massachusetts, and it's a place for people who are coming out of a psychiatric institution, and it was about 40 people who had a diagnosis of bipolar or schizophrenia or extreme depression, and it was this community where it was like 100 acres, and people were thought of as guests, and they worked within the community, and that's how they were transitioning from going into this really extreme, awful psychiatric institution back into a regular community. And so it was called Gould Farm, and I went to work there. And it was the first cell phone that I had. My parents made me get it because I was going from Portland to Massachusetts, and it was 2003, so I was a holdout, you know, for a cell phone. But they got it for me, and then I called my friend, and I was like, I'm going to be in Washington, D.C. tomorrow night. I was driving my Corolla across the country, taking pictures in independent diners of pies. It was just a way for me to talk with people across the country. I'd say, you know, I talked to the owner of the diner because we have such a homogenized culture now. So I thought, oh, you know, I'll actually connect with people, and they're making these homemade things for me to eat. And so anyway, I did that, and I called my friend Oliver, and I said, I'm going to be in Washington, D.C. tomorrow. And he said, oh, well, Reverend Fred Shuttlesworth is going to be at the National History Institute, and you should go check him out because he was in Alabama, in Birmingham, Alabama, with Martin Luther King and the Freedom Walkers, and I had gone through Birmingham, Alabama, and they just by chance had this festival that day, and I got to meet all these people who were part of the civil rights movement, and it was pretty amazing. And then he was saying Reverend Fred Shuttlesworth is going to be in Washington, D.C., so I went, and he said so many eloquent things that I wrote a song about it. So a lot of the words that I'm going to sing are actually just verbatim from this guy, Reverend Fred Shuttlesworth, because he starts off and he says, I've been beat down more times than a 19-year-old cat has lives. You know, like he'd say things like that. And then his daughters were there, and he said that, you know, they had the bombings in Birmingham, and he said to his daughters, you know, who said, are they going to kill us, Daddy? And he said, oh, well, little girl, they can kill us, but they can't kill hope. And so, and anyway, here it goes. I've been beat down more times than a 19-year-old cat has lives. It's a hard town. It's a hard town. They can try and kill us both, but it won't work 'cause you can't kill hope in a hard town. In a hard town. And you might ask me why. You might ask me how I'm still around. I'm still around. Well, the good Lord gave me a hard skull for living in this hard town. The good Lord gave me what I need, and I'm still around. I'm still around. Lightning strikes me twice and more, 'cause I'm living in a thunderstorm. It's a hard town. It's a hard town. If you've got nothing you'll protect, then nothing is what you'll have left in a hard town. In a hard town. And you might ask me why. You might ask me how I'm still around. I'm still around. Well, the good Lord gave me a hard skull for living in this hard town. The good Lord gave me what I need, and I'm still around. I'm still around. I'm still around. And that's living in San Francisco in 2015.
The Lee can't do that.
Living in a hard town.